So, in 4 years of abuse, trying to explain to y'all that when you're called mentally ill, you have to have someone there in person. You have to have someone who actually cares to speak out. The people that I went to for help before Natalie died, I got blown off by every goddamn one of them. That's what happens when you're a male. Oh, you should be fine with it. You should just let it go. Just let it go. You tell women to just let it go. Women are far more likely to get help. And in this system, most of them aren't getting help either. A disabled man has zero chance in hell of defending himself. And that's why people choose, well, folks like me to victimize. It's easy to victimize me and get away with it. Just call me mentally ill and it's magically okay. I've called Adult Protective Services myself well over 24 times. They never did a goddamn thing. They made excuse after excuse after excuse, and hooked me up with other phone numbers. Oh, call these people. Well, I already called those people. Most of your suggestions, I was attempting. I wasn't successful, but I was attempting before Natalie fucking died. I mean, seriously, the day that me and Miss Peaches were actually going to sit down and she was actually, for once, going to fucking listen to me instead of getting drunk and being an asshole to me with Joshua Abear, she was going to help me right after dinner. And right before I started cooking dinner, I had the cast iron skillet in my hand with the chorizo in it. That's when I got the phone call that Natalie was missing. But the police knew what they were doing is wrong. That's why they turned off their body cameras. On multiple occasions, police officers have told me that they had their body cameras on, and they got these two lights that come on when their body cameras are on. Now, lucky for me, my ability to record now comes equipped with time and date stamp, just like Facebook, just like YouTube. It's timed and dated. That means I can go back through that stuff and find out exactly which times and dates. The problem is there is literally thousands of crimes that I have to go through. I need a place to sit down and actually work on it where I don't have to worry about being abused for trying, where I don't have to worry about being victimized just because I have to do it in public. Not sure if you noticed through most of this, a lot of the people that I went to for help are alcoholics. One guy, he was telling me the same thing that everybody else tells me. I'm like, hey, I need help. You know, I need somebody to sit down with me and make these calls. Or two-party call it, you know, if you guys know how to do that. All of the help that I was asking for, well, this guy started off calling me family. Sean, your family, your family, your family. Yeah, I'll help you. Yeah, I can help you with that. I can help you with that. I can help you with that. 6 months down the road, turns out he was full of shit. Hadn't even made an attempt. 0 attempts at any such thing. The whole time I'm being victimized. Then there's a tiny problem. Nothing even close to approaching the hell that I'm living through, but it was a problem with his family. Now, mind you, he called me family, remember? But then when it is his family, all these things that he says, oh, I don't know how, I don't know how. His excuse is, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a this, I'm not a that. I'm not a therapist. Jesus fucking Christ, I don't need a therapist. Therapists aren't going to get me a fucking day in court. I jumped through those hoops with Nicole Peralta. And, well, that whole situation obviously resulted in what? Wasting my money. Wasting my money. That's all it did. Oh, Sean, it's free. It's free. Stop complaining about free. Bitch, I gotta drive there. I gotta drive back. That cost me gas money to do that. I was seeing Nicole Peralta because I was told that she was somebody who was going to help me with this. But she didn't. You know who did? Tamara from Region 1. I didn't need you to listen to me so that I had someone to bitch at. I needed you to listen to me so that you could fucking do something about the abuse that I continue to take. And you say, oh, Sean, if you just shut up. No. Shutting up does not fix this fucking situation. Taking your fucking pills is not going to stop people from abusing me. It's not going to stop people from using the term mentally ill as an excuse. Now there's a lot of dead people, a whole lot of fucking dead people. And in each and every one of these situations, I should be allowed to speak because my information is important. In the case of Elijah McClain, yes, my words are important, but I can't do that because none of you protected me from this violence. You gave me pretty words over and over and over again. I don't know how many people on YouTube told me, I'll help you, I'll help you, I'll help you. And then 6 months down the road, obviously it was just goddamn entertainment. You have no idea how many people offered to help me, saying, oh yeah, Sean, I care. They found me through fucking web sleuth groups. They're a bunch of goddamn wingnuts. They're infatuated with death. They don't give a fuck about anything except the goddamn drama. I shouldn't have had to deal with any of these people. This should have been dealt with between myself, Natalie Bollinger, and a fucking police officer in Chesapeake, Virginia in October of 2016. All of the things that I got in trouble for are things that the police told me are legal when they did it to me. When people did it to me, police officers literally told me they can't do anything. It's not against the law. But if I do it, it is. And then they tell me they can't do anything about my predators here because my predators are elsewhere. So I have to go elsewhere to do it. These places that I have messaged over the internet to try to get help, and they say, no, you need to come in person. And then I go in person and I get victimized. I can't go there in person now because of warrants. Warrants that shouldn't be there. Warrants that are there because of neglect on the part of law enforcement. And not just neglect, but also the fact that they went out of their way to hide their crimes and to abuse the court systems to get away with it. So yesterday, one of these guys who got a hold of me through the internet here, he's from Scotland, by the way. I told you, Americans are pussies. Americans are straight up fucking pussies. They will fucking fold on a goddamn dime. Obviously, I'm not folding. I knew that because I was speaking out against the police that I was going to have to take a lot of fucking help from the police. I knew that because of the term mental ill that I had to have somebody to listen. Someone to go in with me for my own safety. I don't know how many times I explained that. I don't know how many times I explained there's a fucking time limit. The longer it takes you to speak up, the more abuse I have to go through. And you think sending me $50 is gonna fucking fix it? It's not. And then people want to argue with me about my predators. Sure, you're friends with my predators. That's fucking fine. It's going out of your way to pretend like they must be right and I must be wrong. Why don't you look at the fucking evidence? And then there's the fact that I can't go any of these places without being threatened, harassed, assaulted, and abused. So how am I supposed to show them in fucking person? Meanwhile, my technical skills on the computer, I need people to teach me how to do this shit. I wouldn't have this YouTube channel if it wasn't for people helping me. I wouldn't have an email if it weren't for people helping me. I wouldn't have a Facebook if it weren't for people helping me. You don't want me to harass people. You want to pretend like I'm a bad person for harassing people. Well, I can't go to the police. I literally cannot go to the police. When I make a phone call, I mean, there's so much to fucking go through, and they say, all right, well, just pick one crime and send it to me. Like, all right, I'm fucking trying to fucking help. There's too much to go through. I have to go find internet, and I have to find someone to help me still. To this day, I need help. If you deny me that help, does it mean I'm guilty? If you deny me that help, does it mean I'm not fucking trying? If you're not there to see it, does it mean I didn't make an effort? I asked you to be here to see it so that you wouldn't pretend like I'm not making the effort when it doesn't turn out the way that you want because you're not here. That phone call yesterday proved, after literally dozens of phone calls to that agency on multiple phones over multiple years. But yesterday, I had a Caledonian on the other line, listening to the conversation, speaking up from time to time. That helps. Those of you who don't know what a Caledonian is, it's a Scottish person back in Roman times. Y'all think that stuffing me in a low-income apartment that I was in before is going to help? It would have if someone would have shown up to help. For the last 5 goddamn months. Sorry. My bad. For the last 8 months, I've been trying to work with an autism advocate who is supposed to have been a go-between for me and the police. She literally has not done a goddamn thing that direction. And no matter how many times I explain to her, hey, lady, this is not what the cops are saying. All right, so maybe you need to talk to the cops. Maybe you should try communicating with them. And then the cops were like, oh, well, we hooked you up with that autism advocate, so she's supposed to be our go-between. Well, you need to call her and talk to her. You two have gotten the wrong goddamn idea for 8 fucking months because you're not communicating. Fucking communicate. I'm not allowed to be frustrated, but I'm the one taking the abuse. For a whole year before Natalie was shot in the head, I was the one taking the abuse. I was the one being assaulted. I was the one being threatened. I was the one who had to move repeatedly to get away from those people, to get away from that victimization. I had to move away from my loved ones, my friends, and my family because of that abuse, because nobody would do a goddamn thing. That's what it's like when you have the tag of mentally ill. That's what it's like when you're homeless. That's what it's like when you're a male. That's what it's like when you're autistic. You know, not all autistic people are the same. You got no idea how many people have said, you're not autistic. My cousin's autistic. He shits himself. Well, fine. Your cousin shits himself. Not every single person with autism is immodal, which means that they don't speak. Not every single person who is autistic fucking shits themselves at 21 years of age. Not every single person who is autistic is completely sheltered from the fucking world. And I get that a lot of you who are autistic are sheltered from the world. You are protected from the world by your parents. I don't have that. I never have. My parents chose cocaine over me before I was even born. I should have been aborted. And that's not a fucking joke. If I've saved your lives, you can have my mother to thank for that, for not fucking aborting me. The thing is, you guys didn't want to understand. You didn't try to understand. My text messages are full of people literally going out of their way to take everything that I type in a completely different way than I'm fucking typing. Now, sometimes I look at it and I go, that's my fault. That is entirely my fault that they got the wrong idea. First of all, because it's in texting, but it's not like I'm not trying to get them to communicate with me in an effective way. Hey, go and talk to me. But then they got so much shit that they have fucking twisted and contorted in the texting that instead of listening to what I have to say, they're stuck on the shit that they fucking took wrong, and I have to take the time to try to explain to them, but they're not listening. They're busy being pissed off because they took something wrong. Intentionally took it wrong. Now, sometimes as I'm typing and I press enter, I get the whole word prediction thing, and it changes one word, and that one word changes the whole thing that I'm trying to say. And instead of allowing me to explain, hey, I'm sorry, there's a typographical error, they block me. Well, I'm sorry that you're such a butthurt little bitch that you're not willing to try to understand. I can't go to the police. I need someone to actually go in with me. So every single time that I am gang stalked, threatened, harassed, assaulted, I need to have it documented. I document it here on YouTube and I document it on Facebook because there is nobody here who is going to go talk to the police and actually fucking pay attention. You have no idea how many hundreds of hours I have listened to people fucking bitch about shit that they have no goddamn clue about. There's a reason I am for assisted suicide. Natalie wanted her life to end because of the mass quantity of abuse in her life, same as me. But that abuse wasn't coming from me. Natalie's family, some of them pretended like they were going to help me. And then they used other people like Kara Johnson Miles to try to twist things to make what they did okay, to try to contort things, to threaten me, to fucking harass me. Jesus fucking Christ. You think this is okay? What the fuck is wrong with you? How much abuse should you have to take before you scream at the top of your fucking lungs for help? See, the help that I've been trying to get for the last 4 goddamn years, Natalie didn't have to ask for 4 goddamn years. Because she's a pretty girl. Meanwhile, who is it that was on fucking heroin? Was it me? No, it was Natalie. Meanwhile, the things that she was saying were slander. They're not. I can prove that it's not slander with her own words, with her ex-boyfriend's own words, with Maddie Boa's own words, with Joanna Taylor Smith's own words. The worst part was that I had all of that evidence on those phones, and nobody gave a shit. I needed help forcing the fucking cops to take that evidence. And literally all it would have taken was for somebody who knew what the fuck was going on to give a shit. Instead, the courts were able to abuse my disabilities. The police were able to abuse my disabilities. The Bollinger family were able to abuse my disabilities. And you want me to shut up and just take it? Alicia Bollinger needs to get up and speak out publicly. She needs to admit that I never molested her. I never had sex with her, and I never made any fucking attempt. Her sister wrote down on that last post that she made, the one where she slandered the fuck out of me and tried pretending like she was the victim. The very same thing that I had to deal with when she did that the first time in Chesapeake, Virginia. You can see that very same thing happen all over again right there on that post. And if you scroll all the way back to the beginning of it, you get to see that people are like, oh, well, he must be a child molester. He must be a rapist. Did you guys date? She said no. But what did Kara Johnson Miles, who was allowed to speak from all the way in Texas when I wasn't even allowed to speak in my court date? And what was her slander? What is on my court paperwork? It says that I am Natalie Bollinger's ex-boyfriend. Me and Natalie never fucking dated. We held hands once. We never kissed. Now, instead of communicating with me, Rochelle Shelley Campbell pretended that she cared, and then she had this Kara Johnson Miles do her dirty work for her. When Shannon Alvarado busted Kara Johnson Miles, she was like, Kara, oh man, Sean, fucking don't trust her, don't trust her. And she started sending me some screenshots. Those screenshots let me know that what Kara Johnson Miles was saying to me, which is she's an autism advocate and she's trying to help, and then she's bashing me in these Natalie Bollinger groups that are actually Sean Schwartz hate groups. I need help forcing the police to look at this. Repeatedly, when I sent this stuff over the internet to police officers, they told me, oh, I can't see it, I can't see it. Then I would send it to somebody else. That somebody else was like, oh yeah, I can see it. Well, why the fuck can't the police see it? Why is it magically blocked from the police seeing it? Emerald anonymity typed, hope you're doing all right, man. I'm not even doing anywhere close to all right. The abuse continues. Nobody will do anything. I get pretty words on Facebook. I get pretty words on YouTube. You got to love yourself. Doesn't stop the abuse. You got to love yourself. Doesn't get me my tools back. Doesn't get me my money back. It doesn't get me my reputation back. It doesn't get me my friends back. It doesn't get me an honest date in court in any of these court dates. Pills. A lot of people say, hey, Sean, you should take some pills. Pills will fix that. No, the fuck they won't. Will pills fix people punching you in the face? Will pills fix the fact that you can't see your loved ones? Will pills fix the fact that you're homeless? Will pills fix these things? Will pills stop the abuse? No, people speaking up and fucking doing something about it is what stops the abuse. Emerald Anonymity typed, it's a policing and prison for profit system. They have to create criminal charges to continue to operate. I know. That's why the number one people that they victimize are the disabled because they can't defend themselves, and the homeless because they're not allowed to defend themselves. Holy shit. Darren O'Connor, this is a guy I don't have much nice to say about. He and I were trying to get cameras and equipment so that we could actually record what the police were doing in Boulder. Actually record how they were treating homeless people. Clandestine, because if you pull out your camera and point it at them, well, things happen a little differently then. Police act differently when they know they're being recorded, unless they think that they can destroy that evidence or prevent it from being shown in court, which police did repeatedly. Whatever lies it took to prevent that evidence from being shown, they told. Meanwhile, I had to get something done no matter what. Whether you go in with me or not, I still have to make the effort because I need this to stop. I already knew what would happen if I had to go in alone. That shit in Longmont. Miss Peaches was going to go in with me. That's the only reason I was willing to go in to that appointment with Amanda Jonas, and Officer, God, what is his name? Brian Valenzuela. Brian Valenzuela isn't from Longmont. They did everything that they could to use jurisdictional boundaries to prevent evidence from being shown. Meanwhile, jurisdictional boundaries didn't matter when it came to covering up their crimes. Brian Valenzuela went from Arapahoe County, where, first of all, he's a Sheridan police officer. He had no business investigating that. Why? Because it didn't happen in fucking Sheridan. You know where it happened? Inglewood. Let's see. Emerald anonymity type. They target the homeless and the elderly before all else because they are weak and easy to target. The elderly are targeted. You are correct. The police don't generally target the elderly, though. That's the general public that targets the elderly. Mostly in nursing homes and mostly their children. And that's another situation that's completely screwed. Most of our abusers in our lifetimes will be family. When your family doesn't want to take care of you when you're old, they put you in a nursing home. And that nursing home, unless they've got cameras with audio, yeah, they can do whatever they want to you. I mean, there are literally tens of thousands of elderly who are raped in nursing homes every year, and you have to catch them. Emerald anonymity typed, I don't support BLM or Antifa or political parties, but I am not so stupid not to see the issue. Exactly. I know a lot of homeless people, and the system is designed to keep them homeless. Exactly. You know, I was made homeless because Natalie died. The house that I'm at, I was going to buy this from Megan Christie before Natalie was killed. It was going to take me about 5 to 6 months to save up the money to do so. But then Natalie died, and all of that money had to get spent to move from place to place to place to place to place to try to get help. Meanwhile, when I get there, I realize they're alcoholics or meth dealers. What am I supposed to do? Is that my fault? Is that my decision? Then I get called a narcissist for trying to defend myself, for pointing out that I wasn't just out of nowhere being an asshole. I'm being abused. I'm trying to get a stop to the abuse, and I'm getting blown off. See, that's the thing, is that all of these people in all of these government agencies were only interested in the sliding fee scale. The difference between them going, all right, well, we need to call Adult Protective Services about this situation, and blowing me off the way that they did was somebody going in with me in person. Now, here's the thing. If I have to have somebody go in with me in person to have you, Region 1, or Nicole Peralta do anything about this, well, if I had that person to do that, I wouldn't have come to you. If I had a person to do that, I wouldn't have come to you. I'd have gone directly to Adult Protective Services. But Adult Protective Services doesn't give a shit. When you are a disabled adult and you call them, you are ignored unless someone makes that call with you. And that call yesterday proved it. I needed someone in my corner. In my corner means actually there, not moral support on the internet. Sean, you just need to love yourself. Oh, let's see. Emerald anonymity typed, it's mind blowing that after all these lockdowns, the people really believe that the government cares about them. You know, I think the lockdown is great. A lot of the things that I have to deal with emotionally for the last 4 years, a lot of you guys have to deal with emotionally because you're on lockdown. Should I say ha ha like so many people did to me? Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. And people want to be angry when I do these things back. I wouldn't do them back if I could get help stopping you from doing it. A lot of folks said, Sean, you have no idea how much support you have. You're right. You know, when I was looking at Rob Gavigan's channel, there were a lot of people there that were asking how I'm doing, offering help, and quite a bit of other stuff like that. The problem is that just like with Sword and Scale, I was blocked. Rob Gavigan blocked me from his channel, so I can't speak. Then he says that it's not him, it's the internet that did it. Rob Gavigan, just like all these other assholes who pretended they gave a shit, wanted to do a sleuth group thing because it's popular. Well, first of all, I'm glad it's popular. I am not going to allow what happened to myself and to Natalie Bollinger and to Alicia Bollinger to go unchecked. Yes, Alicia Bollinger is a victim of this, but I'm not her predator, she's mine. Sorry, folks, I got a hornet flying around. He's on my computer. Fucker. Let's see if I can scroll this down. I'm not very good at this. Say, for example, everyone did not commit crimes. They would literally have to fabricate crime to keep themselves in business. And they will do that and have been caught doing it before numerous times. That's exactly my point. See, they got busted doing that, in my case, repeatedly. As a result of not listening to me, Natalie Bollinger is dead. Elijah McClain is dead. Tibor Hetei is dead. A lot of people are dead. A lot of people were killed specifically by the officers that I was trying to turn in, but then again, they wouldn't allow me the names of those officers. Sorry, I'm trying to read these. They target the homeless and elderly before all right, I read that one. I already read the BLM one. I already read the lockdowns. Nursing homes or death camps for old people. That is 100% true. There is literally no other way to look at it unless you're an idiot. Emerald anonymity typed, I had one family member murdered in a nursing home. They took the phones, all contact away, wouldn't let us visit, and stole their government benefit. You know, that happened to me a lot. Where they took away my contact, where they took away my ability to contact others. Now, in some cases, it was the police did this, but in some cases, it was the general public who did this. Going through and calling every single thing that I type spam. You have no idea how many Facebook bans I was on because they called stuff spam. And then I'm frustrated after 30 days of having to deal with abuse and not be able to reach out on Facebook for help to all these people whose phone numbers I used to have. But, well, that evidence got stolen. Those phones got stolen. Those computers got stolen repeatedly. And no matter what, police didn't do a goddamn thing about it. They absolutely refused 100% of the time. Holy fuck. And it's not like I'm talking out my ass. There's so many situations with police that are documented. The actual situation on camera on my fucking YouTube, it's actually documented. They took away my benefits. They took away my ability to communicate. They took away my ability to ask for help repeatedly. They abused the law to prevent me from my legal rights. They tortured me until I had a meltdown and then pretended that I was a bad guy for having a meltdown. No, I'm having these meltdowns over abuse. Emerald anonymity typed, we even had a place to have that family member live for us to take care of them. They refused to release them. They kidnap and murder the elderly while taking their government benefit. Yeah, they do the same to the disabled. They do the same to people with Asperger's. They do the same to people with schizophrenia. I got a friend named Sean in Colorado. He is schizophrenic. And he is in a whole world of hurt because of something that is no fault of his own. See, they wanted to fuck with his medications. I don't mean adjust his medications. I mean, they fucked with his medications. He was finally on a medication that helped him out and he was doing fine. They took away that drug and gave him one that would have a different reaction. They gave him drugs that made his symptoms worse. And then they victimized him, and not just him, but his family, because they fucked up. Why don't you try taking him off the med that makes him like that? Why don't you try putting him back on the medication that actually helped him? If the medication is helping him, then why did you take it off of him? Obviously, you wanted that reaction. Obviously, you knew how to manipulate someone who is schizophrenic using those drugs, and you wanted to get more out of it. If this schizophrenic person is considered dangerous because they're on different drugs, you get more fucking money. It's just like when I go to Scotts Bluff, this is a primarily drug treatment facility. So if I go there and they write down that I have a drug problem, then lo and behold, they get more money. They are getting paid more money by pretending that I am a drug addict. So that's what they do instead of doing their jobs. When I was in Scotts Bluff on suicide watch, because I was sent up there for trying to turn in police here, I needed someone in person. So Jen Beebe came down. But they had manipulated Jen Beebe already by claiming to her that I had tried to reach for an officer's gun. Now, Jen Beebe was going to come forward. I called her and told her that the police didn't have their body cameras on. All of a sudden, she changes her tune and ignores me for 5 goddamn months. Ignores her job for 5 months. She's getting paid for this job, and she's not doing it. Do you know who did Jen Beebe's job? Meg, my autism advocate. Meg did, or not Nicole Peralta's, did Jen Beebe's job. And then Jen Beebe, months and months and months later, when I've literally called her boss on multiple occasions to say, hey, something needs to be done, her boss says, oh, well, we can't do anything. We have to have an investigation. Okay, have your investigation. Did they investigate? No, they didn't. They didn't bother to investigate. They made zero effort to investigate. Nobody called me to investigate. Nobody called me to try to coordinate with me to get the evidence. Nobody. When it's just you, these professionals know that they can be lazy and they know they can get paid for being lazy. Emerald anonymity type. Me personally, I am already poor, so the lockdown doesn't affect me much. But these screen washed idiots don't realize they are being systematically taken out by design. People are not aware, but it is in the public domain that the law enforcement are a part of a fraternal order of Masonic police, meaning they don't protect and serve people or uphold the Constitution. I'm going to tell you something about the Masons. That's a bunch of fucking hoopla. That's a bunch of conspiracy bullshit. None of these officers did what they did because of the Illuminati or the Masons. Their motivations are easy to figure out. They don't want to get in trouble for coming forward, and you got to protect the other bullshitters behind the blue line of bullshit by whatever means necessary. Police repeatedly lied to me, told me they were going to take me someplace safe, make a report, and then they'd take me to a hospital instead and have me injected with drugs or assault me at that hospital. In Boulder County, that is one of the most popular places to do it. Because then they have professional witnesses when they do something fucked up. These people are all friends with each other. How am I supposed to do something about that? Officer Waylon Lolatai intentionally assaulted me, not because some Illuminati head boss man told him to, but because he's a piece of shit. He didn't do it because some Masonic priest said, oh, well, you know, we can't take over the world if you let this man speak. No. His motivations are a lot more fucking simple. He just gets off on hurting homeless people. He gets off on hurting people who didn't grow up with the spoiled ass opportunities that he had. Emerald anonymity typed. People are not aware, but I already read that part. Emerald anonymity typed. If you want to be afforded constitutional rights, you must be able to afford to pay the attorney for said rights. That is why we live in the United States Incorporated. And you're absolutely right. A public pretender doesn't get paid to do their job. They don't get paid to defend you. They get paid so they can say that you were defended. Oh, well, he had legal counsel. We did our jobs. No, you didn't. I broke the law because I needed help stopping the abuse. And every step of the way I explained this. Every step of the way I explained that I was trying hard to fight to force the police to wear body cameras. And my Facebook is proof of a lot of that. Emerald anonymity typed, yes, they human test and guinea pig any humans they can get their hands on. They tried to do it to me when I was a kid. Luckily, I have a strong mind and am able to stick up and speak for myself. Myself as well, Emerald anonymity. We agree wholeheartedly on that. When I was a child, I was a test guinea pig for most of the medications that y'all have today that them drug fucking assholes, the FDA. Man, for years and years, they tested that stuff on children at Centennial Peaks Mental Hospital in Boulder County, Colorado. Years. We're talking about still to this day. Risperidol was known for giving men boobs. I was on Risperidol growing up. It doesn't just give you boobs, it deforms your chest. It deforms your pectoralis muscles. I actually lactated for about 6 months when I was a kid. Now, there's something that they call bitch tits. What is bitch tits? And I know that you guys don't like the word bitch, whatever. Bitch tits is when your pectoralis muscles grow into a rounded or cupped shape. This happens often when young men are given hormones as a child. Risperidol fucks with your hormones. I'm going to show you what bitch tits look like. All right, you see my chest? You see how my pectoralis muscles, they're not squared off at all. They're round. That's what Risperidol does. Now, it's not a big major issue now. I mean, they do look kind of weird, but it's nothing at all like when I had boobs. My life was hell when I had boobs. Let's see. The reason that they did it to me is because my parents did not have the right to do anything about it. My mother sold my rights to the state of Colorado in 1986. At Centennial Peaks, my first day there. After that, they can do whatever they want. Communist social workers and the Fourth Reich medical mafia is what they are. I would love communist social workers. I'm not talking about this fake communism that they got over there. That's exactly the same as the fake democracy we have here. I'm talking about actual communism, where every person counts, where every person matters. You know, those are actually the fundamentals of communism. How many of you guys have read the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx? He's got some stuff in there that's, well, pretty fucking out there in my opinion. But for the most part, he was thinking about the people, not the government. He felt, just as the founders of this country pretended, that the power should be in the hands of the people, not the government. And that the government's job is to serve the people. As far as the medical mafia, I love the way that he typed that, or she. Fourth Reich medical mafia. Yeah. You know, United States medicine does not often do anything to solve the issue. It just tries to cover it up. You have a cold? Oh, well, we're not going to fix your cold, but here's something that'll dry up your boogers. Well, okay. Here's another one about Masonic crap, but I'll read it anyway. They have a lot of fraternal order police unions in my town, and they have the Masonic square and compass on their buildings. They are Masons, but it's just a union, not an Illuminati conspiracy. All right, well, that I can believe. There are Masons in just about every, what's the word I'm looking for? Career. There are Masons in almost every career out there. A Masonic lodge. I've never been a Mason. I don't go to Mason meetings. We've got a Masonic building here in town that it's just a storage facility. Brickabella's furniture store. Let's see. There are lawsuits available for the Risperidol victims. You should file a lawsuit for that. I've actually been in contact with Tosi Law Firm about that. But as I said, the The fact that I don't know how to do this stuff, I have to have somebody in person to help me with it. A lot of people said I should have sued the media and I should have sued the Bollingers. The problem is that when you're called mentally ill, your ideas are just ideas at that point. They are in the realm of fiction for me. It's a possibility for you, but it's off in the realm of fiction for me, which is why I need you. Communist social workers are the ones that guinea pigged you. However, communism does not afford you basic human rights. I have a copy of the Black Book, Communism is Not Good. Well, the Communist Manifesto is red, not black. I've read it. See, you're using communism as a derogatory term. It's kind of like people do with the term liberal or Republican or Democrat. I call them Democrats, Republicans, and liberals because they're all a bunch of shitheads to me. I don't care what political party you're affiliated with. If you did wrong, you did wrong. If you fucked up and you're a Democrat, it's not Democrats that fucked up. You fucked up. If you fucked up and you're a liberal, it's not liberals that fucked up. You fucked up. And then you hid behind the political party. That's why political parties, not just the Nazi Party, in Germany they abolished the Nazi Party. But we don't need to abolish the Nazi Party. We need to abolish all political parties. That allows too much command and control. Now, as far as you use the word communist in a derogatory way, first of all, communism does provide for individual freedoms and basic human rights. Matter of fact, most of the Communist Manifesto covers why things are the way that they are and why human rights are denied by all other governments except for potentially communism, because there was no communist government when the Communist Manifesto was written. The reason communism doesn't work is because the government doesn't ever allow power to the people. It does not matter. It is capitalism or communism. Both systems don't afford us our basic human rights. That is correct. However, both systems have things in place that are ignored, things in place that are supposed to protect those basic human rights. The reason that they don't is because they're not observed. Much like many of the laws that govern disabled people, if a police officer turns off his camera and decides that he's not going to observe that person's rights, who cares? That's a police officer and you're mentally ill. They play on that a lot. Emerald anonymity type. What you can do for the Risperidol is offer the attorney 25% of the reward. They should be able to go to all the court dates without you present, etc. Well, the thing is, in order to get the information that they need, I need help in person here where I'm at. It doesn't matter where the court date is. These people are actively trying to get it without me offering 25%. They're actively trying to get me to join this lawsuit, but I need help to do that. See, all these opportunities that you guys have, I don't have. I don't have the technological knowledge to do these things. Otherwise, I wouldn't be helping or wouldn't be asking for help with this technical stuff. Emerald anonymity type. Well, China and other communist countries, don't tell me about communism as it is. Communism as it is not real communism. Just like here in the United States, democracy is not real democracy. Real democracy means every person counts. Real democracy means that we work together for whatever is best for us as a whole. Same thing with communism. That's how they're supposed to be set up. But it's different when you have governments, because then you've got rich people at the top who don't know a goddamn thing about our issues. And what do we have to deal with? We got to deal with people telling us that the NASDAQ tells us that Americans are doing great. No, the fuck it doesn't. It says how rich people are doing. You have any idea how many people I know who own stocks? Not very fucking many. If they do, they own one or two. That's not going to be enough to fucking retire on. Let's see. Well, China and other communist countries do not give people basic human rights, so clearly it's a failed system. And that's right, it is a failed system. Same as democracy. Um, I agree with your statement of no government or a totally new system, but humans are evil. Humans aren't evil, they're selfish. Big difference. A lot of these people didn't want to come forward because they were afraid they would get in trouble or they would get targeted. Most of these people did evil things. My battery's low. But they didn't do those evil things because they're evil. They did them because they were fucking scared. Same as me. People said they would help, but the most basic help that I needed was for them to speak up. Now, I'll give you an example of that. First, I'm going to read this thing at the bottom. Emerald anonymity type. The inherent evil within humans makes it very difficult for any government system to function in a just and good way. I'm sorry, there's my screen's dirty and I was having problems reading that. There's a woman named Kinga Nichols from Colorado. We were friends for a lot of years. When I got my job at the Cheesecake Factory, I couldn't have the job unless I had slip resistant shoes. And guess who gave me them slip resistant shoes? That's right, it was Kinga Nichols. Kinga Nichols, right before Natalie was killed, sent me $100 so that I could go see my therapist here in Nebraska, Nicole Peralta. When Natalie died, I offered her every penny that I had, including that money that King of Nichols had sent me. King of Nichols sent me, I want to say, close to $150 more after that. In the last 3 years, she has since, well, literally the day before Natalie disappeared is when she sent me the first $100. So if we count from that $100 all the way to today, she's given me about $250. What I needed was her to speak up. If she'd have spoken up in January of 2018, February of 2018, March of 2018, it would have made a difference. But to this day, you know what her excuse for not coming forward is? She's afraid of being deported. She's afraid of being deported back to Hungary. You know how fucked up that is? She wouldn't come forward and tell the truth because she was afraid of being kicked out of the country if she did so. An American citizen. Well, that's fair enough. They're selfish. I do believe some of them are total psychopaths. However, maybe evil is not a proper term. Narcissist and psychopath seems to be more appropriate. I agree. A lot of these narcissists, after they did fucked up shit, wanted to say, it's my fault. Hey, you did the fucked up shit. Don't blame me. I take responsibility for my fucked up shit. I also am wholeheartedly willing to show the proof that I was pushed to that scenario. So King of Nichols, after 3 years of her not coming forward, I was finally able to get her on the phone, have a conversation, and put it on YouTube. She is not my friend anymore because it contained personal information that she didn't want the world to know. Well, the fact that some of that personal information explains why it is that she didn't keep her word, explains why she was too afraid to come forward. Yes, it is relevant in my case. Whether she wants to be angry about it or not, it is evidence that she did wrong things because she was afraid. I can understand that you did wrong things because you were afraid. I did wrong things because I was afraid. But I was also lied to and misled and abused backed into a corner and poked with a stick repeatedly before I had to do that. It's not like I didn't ask for your help 1,000 times before I had a fucking panic attack over the abuse. I am still taking the abuse. Telling me to let it go isn't going to stop the abuse. Telling me I need mental help isn't going to stop the abuse. Telling me that I need to waste time, money, and funds that I literally do not have to go see a therapist is not going to do anything about the abuse. I know because I have tried. Emerald Anonymity, I want to thank you. Train, I want to thank you for joining the conversation. I really, truly believe that you are an intelligent human being who has been through a lot. I think that you understand a lot of the things that I'm going through. And I think the part where I was telling you it was conspiracy theory stuff, it is. Whether they're part of a Masonic lodge or not, if they're hiding their wrongs, they're hiding their wrongs. God damn it.